Okay.
All right, go ahead and state your name, title, and organization that you're employed by.
Hi, my name is Art Littlefield. I am the product manager for Table Mesa Continuing Education.
And can you describe for me a typical day slash week in your job?
Yeah, absolutely. So I manage a small group of people who do anything from marketing to sales to customer service. Normal day, I mean, it changes every single day what I do, but it could be anything from, editing or updating online, like digital advertisements, to just helping fix the newest customer service issue. I mean, it varies pretty greatly today, but those are just a couple little examples.
Okay. How did you get started in this field?
So, like a lot of people, I knew someone, but it's not that hard to get into it. This was a friend of mine who started the business and invited me to come help him manage it. And I really didn't know that much about the industry when I first got into it. But luckily, I had some business experience before from some previous jobs, some previous, and just from my college days. I ended up getting a business degree, so that helped a lot too.
Nice. Which majors would you say most commonly secure this type of job?
Business, pretty much anything business related. I got a degree in international business. Some of the people who work for me have stuff, anything from marketing to, business administration, international studies, things like that. Um,
Okay.
but yes, anything business related.
And what would you say are the most satisfying aspects of this job?
Oh, there's a few. One of my favorite things is when a customer comes in just heated, really mad, upset about whatever the issue may be. And I've worked customer service before, and I just love turning that experience around and turning it into a really positive experience. One where by the end of the phone call or by the end of the email feed, or the chat, they are actually thanking me for our service and telling me that they're going to use our product in the future and recommend us to their friends. And that is just such a good feeling to be able to do that and turn that frown upside down, as cliche as that sounds.
Nice. That does sound rewarding.
It
Uh,
is.
how about the opposite end of the spectrum? What frustrations or drawbacks do you commonly experience with your same position?
So our business is a small, young business. We're still kind of growing into ourselves, and so a lot of things with startup companies and new young companies and just business development in general. There's a lot of speed bumps, a lot of roadblocks, and just it's hard to um, create all these different functionalities that you need as a business. You have web developers that you need to tell them exactly what you want and what you need for your website to make sure that people who are searching for your services land on the right landing page, the right marketing page, etc. And when there's so many different moving parts and things like that, it can be very difficult at times to make sure that everything happens and to make sure that it happens on time. Um, it can be pretty difficult to, things get delayed a lot, things get postponed and things like that, so it can be really frustrating, especially when you're promising your customers certain services, functionalities, and then you have to come back and tell them later, that's going to be another few weeks before we're able to give them to you. And so that's kind of a bummer, but it'll happen eventually, and so that's okay.
True. Okay. Um, commonly, how often do you travel for your job, and for how long are you usually gone?
I travel pretty often for my job, actually. So my case is kind of a little bit different. I work remotely, but I take trips to meet with my team about once a quarter, once every 2 or 3 months, and
what percentage of the time is spent while you're working utilizing computers, and what percentage of the time is spent interacting with people and writing reports and things like that?
So I would say 100% of my time is using computers. My whole business is based on online continuing education and interacting with people and writing reports. I send a weekly report to my boss. I have my employees write up weekly reports that they send to me, and then interacting with people face to face. I do that every time I go out to meet with my team, and every now and then I'll do a conference where I'll present our solution in front of a group of people, and that's really nice to be able to kind of pitch our idea, pitch our solution to a whole group of people.
Okay. So that type of group of people, they're people outside of the organization, I would assume. How often are you in contact with people outside of the organization, and what is your general relationship to those people?
I speak with people outside of my company and our organization every single day. It can be anything from customer service, like I said. Well, I guess that's within our organization because they're using our product. But on top of that, I talk to other people who aren't utilizing our services almost every single day in our sales efforts, and trying to get them to come on board and utilize our service. A lot of that is email marketing, phone calls, cold calling, things like that, which then turns into warm leads, and then we develop a relationship. And the frequency of that depends. It depends on how interested the person is. If someone's interested, one of my girls who works for me, she's developed this relationship with one of our clients. They started out as a cold lead. She, decided to use our services and put her courses on our website and started to sell them. And then she's got all these great ideas. She's just one of those people who's a go-getter, very involved in what she does. And they speak either on the phone or via email, I want to say almost every single day. And I've got some people like that I speak with pretty often, every day, but definitely every week.
Okay, that's interesting. So this type of career, how does it generally affect your lifestyle as far as things like amount of work, leisure, travel, and outside interests?
So, again, I'm kind of lucky in my sense with my job that I'm able to work remotely. So the whole work-life balance is definitely there. I'm able to kind of work, not necessarily when I want, like I still work more or less than 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 9 to 6 hours. But if I need to take a break, or, feed the dogs, or, something like that, I'm able to do that. If, I need to give a friend a favor, give them a ride, I'm able to do that. If something fun comes up and I want to go do something fun, I'm usually able to do that as long as I'm able to come back later and finish my work. Obviously, if something important is happening, I need to be responsible enough to know, hey, I can't go do this fun thing right now and make that decision myself, because if not, it's going to directly affect my business. But I really believe that type of having that freedom and flexibility makes me more excited about doing my job and about doing a good job, about doing my job well. And so I think the final product is much better experience for the end user.
I can see how that would promote better work ethics.
Absolutely.
Are there
Instead
any?
of having to head out every day from 9 to 5, instead of worrying, stressing, are you going to be late or something like that, having a boss breathing down your neck, having that freedom and flexibility just kind of takes that stress off.
Absolutely. Are there any specific degrees, licenses, or other credentials that are required for entry or advancement of your work?
I wouldn't say any degree degrees or licenses are required necessarily, but obviously a bachelor's degree of any sort is highly recommended to be able to into this type of profession. And on top of that, if you have further education, a master's degree in business administration or something like that, obviously helps as well. But we hire more based off of experience and how well the individual is going to fit into the company culture. I'm much more excited to work with someone who I think I'm going to be able to hang out with outside of work than someone who is kind of awkward and I'm not really able to just have a normal conversation with. And so, if obviously qualifications come into that as well, they need to be very qualified for that. If I have two people with the same qualifications, I'm going to go with the person who's more just comfortable working with me.
All right, and speaking of that, things like skills, values, or personal traits, which one specifically do you think would promote the most success working for your organization?
I would say values. Someone who holds themselves up to like a high standard of living, a high standard of work ethic, and a high standard of education is going to bring a lot more value to the company than someone who has a master's degree or all these different degrees and things like that. Someone who's really book smart but isn't able to apply it. You need that same kind of balance where you're able to take everything that you learn, but you need to be able to apply it to the job itself as well. And so that same kind of thing is very important in our industry as well.
Okay. Do you belong to any trade or professional groups which are significantly beneficial to the work that you do?
Not really. I'm part of this email group, the Young Entrepreneurs of America, but it's nothing really that I'm too involved with at the moment. It's definitely something that I would like to become more involved with, and I'm actually moving out to Colorado where my company is based soon, and there's a ton of different trade groups and well, not trade groups, but just kind of entrepreneurial groups and startup incubators and things like that are out there that I'm really looking forward to getting involved with soon.
All right. Normally, how would you say people learn about openings in your field?
So there's two different companies that we usually post with online. Two websites that we usually post are ads for hiring. One of them is called Career Buffs. It's through the University of Colorado in Boulder. And the other is called internstostartups.com. It was started by this guy named Paul Foley. He's a serial entrepreneur. I've lost count of how many startup companies he's started now. But basically the idea of the website is to get interns and startups talking with each other and connect them.
Okay. If there was some kind of information that you could have had or known before you started this position, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Healthcare. I wish I would have known a lot more about healthcare. But like they say, fake it till you make it. And I don't know if I've quite made it yet, but I wouldn't say I necessarily faked it, but there was a lot of learning involved in the first year or two that I was working with this company. And you just have to be knowledgeable, not even knowledgeable, you just have to be coachable. You have to be a sponge and just absorb as much as you can and just be open and listen. I would say one of the biggest things, recommendations I would say is I'm a huge proponent of communication
is there any specific books or reading that you would recommend?
Yeah, a few. Oh gosh, I've read a few good books lately. The Third Wave by Steve Case, who's the founder of AOL. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. What else? Good to Great by, I forget the author right now. I haven't read that book in about a year, but that was another really good book.
Good to great.
Talks good is the enemy of great. Being good enough, a lot of people settle for good enough, but truly great companies are persistent and keep going until they have become truly great.
Okay. If one were to pursue a job with this company, what entry level positions are available currently?
So right now, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because we're just starting to define a new role with this company. Well, two new roles actually. One of them is going to be Table Mesa Marketing. The other is going to be called Table Mesa. Table Mesa Marketing is a service that we're going to offer where, for an extra royalty percentage, we will take care of all of your digital marketing for you. Okay, so a lot of people who join our site don't know anything about online marketing. It's a lucrative world. Digital advertising with Facebook, Google, AdWords, AdRoll. There's so many different companies out there that you can do online advertising with. And we're looking to hire someone who can just take care of that for all of our customers. The next thing is Table Mesa Studio, where we will actually send a production person to a hospital's live continuing education courses, and they will record the course, the live course, and then take that course and turn it into this beautiful video course that we can then upload online. And by doing that, we're able to open up the audience from the 40 people who were able to be sitting in that classroom to the 40,000 doctors who are going to be renewing this renewal cycle. And so that's something that we're really excited about too.
Wow, that sounds huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
What future career plans, if any, do you have for yourself?
I'm in this with this company for the long haul. I see a tremendous amount of opportunity with this company. The scalability of our business model is almost infinite. We can take this and apply it to almost any profession across the country. And once we've established ourselves in the U.S., we can take that same business model and apply it to other places around the world. So I am very gung-ho about this business. I don't see myself doing anything else. But just like anyone who wants to be wealthy, you need to have several different sources of income. So I am entertaining a few other ideas to kind of make a little bit of extra money on the side. Anything from driving Uber, being an Uber driver, to selling Spanish courses online. I've got a lot of different ideas for things that I want to do, but Table Mesa will always be the bread and butter.
Okay. If you had a piece of advice for a young person entering the same field as you, what would it be?
There's some really good questions. One piece of advice for someone entering this field. I would have to go back to the coachable piece. Just be coachable, be adaptable to new situations, and communicate with your boss. If you're not able to get something done in a time frame that your boss has given you, let them know, one, that you can't do it, and two, why you can't do it, because more than often your boss is going to have a solution to fixing that problem. They've probably seen it before, or they probably know of another feature or something that will be able to help you get it done faster. A lot of times, some of my employees will be afraid that, I don't want to tell him I can't get it done, or I don't want to give him, he asked for this project by this date, and I don't want to give it to him yet because it's not all the way done. But their mistake there is that if they would just give me what they've done already and say, hey, this is the reason that one, make sure that they're on the right track. And two, I can help them and give them the tools and resources that they need to get it done in a timely fashion. And so just communication is the biggest thing for me. And if you have any questions, clarify. A lot of times my employees will kind of get down a little rabbit hole, and it's not the direction that I wanted them to go. And if they had clarified with me beforehand, then I could have told them, hey, actually, there's a little bit of a misunderstanding here. Could you go in this direction instead? And so those two pieces right there, clarifying communication and being coachable, being able to learn.
All right. Really awesome answers. That just about wraps it up for the interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Littlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem.